Hello, Paul Tasker here. I thought I'd like to do a little podcast for Christmas this year, so here it is. But first, to set the right mood, let's begin with this. Once in Royal David's City. Although Britain is only nominally Christian today, Christmas is still a very special time of year for millions of us, including myself, of course. And I was reflecting earlier about how deeply impregnated with meaning the word Christmas actually is, and I think if we all close our eyes and think about the word Christmas, we could all draw huge spider diagrams to show the connections that we've made over the course of our lifetime. But Christmas is also imbibed with powerful feelings and emotions accrued over our whole lifetime. And that's bound to be the same for so many people. There's a hope, an expectation, and a joy, in addition to perhaps a sadness that we've lost so much of what was good about Christmas in bygone years. Perhaps it's impossible to avoid nostalgia at this really important time of year and to recall vividly Christmases of old as a child. And I imagine that this becomes even more so the older and older that you get. I was thinking that children, of course, are so much more open to wonderment and magic than adults are, and I recall Christmases at my old school, Horsforth Featherbank County Primary, as it was then called. Each year the huge tree would go up in the hall, and there would be a nativity play and carol singing concert for the school and parents. But the highlight for us, the children, would be the annual Christmas party. And there'd often be rumours about Santa Claus actually coming to our school and maybe even landing in the playground via helicopter. And I can think back, of course, to the awe and wonder in our minds, children who believed this might actually be so. And I also remember how carefully our cutlery and plates, which we had to bring from home, would be individually labelled by our mums. And taking in your own labelled eating utensils itself was a huge novelty. But the highlight for us came at the end, when there would be carols singing round the tree, followed by everybody gathering round it. And each child would be given a raffle ticket, and on the tree was a chocolate with numbers on. And I can remember the numbers being called out, and every child getting the chocolate matching their particular number. Absolute magic. And yet, of course, it was only a chocolate. But that's it, as children, things mean more. Let's have a quick excerpt from one of my all-time favourite Christmas carols, which has got to be Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Christmas carols speak about the great joy surrounding the birth of a very special baby, Jesus Christ, in a manger in the little town of Bethlehem. I'm privileged to have actually been to the Church of the Nativity and to have descended the stairs to the very spot that tradition has it that Christ was born. And yet I often totally and completely forget about that, and I fail to associate the visit to Bethlehem with Christmas at all. Strange but true. For me, Christmas is all about home, being at home and sharing that highly special dinner with family members, keeping the custom and tradition of doing so alive year after year after year. And the Christmas dinner is a kind of a collective link to all our pasts. It's so embedded in family tradition and folk memory. And of course it's a milestone that we partake of and share together. Now, both my parents are dead, and my sister and niece live across the world in Florida. So this means that our present Christmas dinners are very small affairs. There's my parents-in-law, my wife Janet, and Uncle Gary, the only remaining member of my mother's side of the family. And there are no taskers there at all except me now. And then it's all over so very quickly, isn't it? In days gone by, we would always have a second big meal on Boxing Day with family members. But with the passage of the years, along with family deaths, that stopped a good while ago now. I was thinking that we in the West actually celebrate so little collectively any longer, and this has to make Christmas extremely significant and very special for our cultural identity. Consumerism long ago swallowed up the older, simple joys and pleasures of Christmas. And Santa Claus boozy parties, along with Christmas telly, have sidelined the traditional message of the Nativity. And it's widely commented upon that Christ has been airbrushed out of Christmas so that it's reverted really to its original pagan origins. So perhaps we're really in the post-Christian world of science and technology, rationality and hard fact. And yet the Nativity story still holds a compelling message and a hope for the spiritual aspects of our being which are so neglected by our modern frenetic lives. We have to imagine a baby so innocent and helpless, being the deliverer of salvation for humanity. We have to imagine a child growing up to lead us out of the darkness and into the light, and then ultimately, through death's dark doorway, into eternal life. Like millions of modern people, I too find this almost impossible to believe, since our rational minds tell us that it's totally implausible. But then again, that's the wonder and the beauty and the hope of Christmas. Let's finish with this very special carol, one so full of the joy and expectation and triumph of Christ's coming, which is, "O come all ye faithful." I really, really, really do love to hear this carol at Christmas time every year.